Many have said that SNL's original cast of Not Ready for Primetime Players was the best, and nobody can argue that most of them went on to become entertainment icons. But where are they all now? With his sharp delivery, good looks, and innate knack for physical comedy, Chevy Chase became the breakout star of Saturday Night Live's first season. He was the very first person to utter the show's iconic opening line.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Chase was also the original host of one of SNL's most enduring segments, Weekend Update, and famously lampooned President Gerald Ford in a series of memorable sketches. Even so, Chase's time on the show was short. He moved on midway through season 2. Over the next few years, Chase became one of Hollywood's most bankable comic actors and a bona fide A-lister, starring in films like Foul Play, Caddyshack, and Seems Like Old Times. Flash forward to today, and Chase is a screen legend, having most recently won praise for his 85-episode run on Community from 2009 to 2013. But Chase has never been known for being easy or even fun to work with. On the Community set, he famously clashed with creator Dan Harmon and other members of the show's cast and crew and left after season 4. He also fought with certain cast members when he returned to host SNL. Now in his 80s, Chase's most recent feature film performance was in 2024's The Christmas Letter, in which he reunited with his Christmas Vacation co-star Randy Quaid. Before her run as one of SNL's Not Ready for Primetime Players, Jane Curtin was a UNICEF ambassador and college dropout who was fighting for relevance as a comic and off-Broadway actor, and she brought a different approach to the gig. While many of her castmates dove headfirst into the excesses of the time and relied on their natural talents and charisma to find success on the show, Curtin worked hard, learned her lines, and honed her craft. In a 2015 interview with the Television Academy Foundation, she recalled, "Dan Aykroyd and I were workhorses. We got this job, and our job was to do it to the best of our ability and not create problems. So Dan and I liked working together because there was no drama. It worked." Curtin played the straight woman in many sketches, but her comic chops were on full display alongside Aykroyd in the recurring Coneheads bits and as his Weekend Update co-anchor.
What can I say besides,
try these on for size, Connie Chung.
Curtin continued to have a successful career after leaving SNL. She won a pair of Emmys on the 1980s sitcom Kate and Allie, and starred alongside John Lithgow in the series Third Rock from the Sun. In 2025, she had a recurring role as Nan Cox, mother-in-law of the president and a White House tenant on the Netflix comedy The Residents, and she joined her former SNL castmate Laraine Newman in honoring the late Gilda Radner during the show's 50th anniversary celebration.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Dan Aykroyd's workman-like approach to his job on SNL, along with his ability to take on virtually any role in a sketch and make it better, made him one of the backbones of the show's original cast.
He is what I used to say is the resident genius of Saturday Night Live.
Aykroyd etched his name into the SNL history books with characters and sketches like the Czech Brothers, the Coneheads, the Blues Brothers, and Frank Garvin.
And where do you folks come from? France. We come from France.
Aykroyd left the show in 1979. Over the course of his multi-decade career, Aykroyd brought the Blues Brothers to the big screen, wrote and starred in the Ghostbusters films, and played Anna Klumsky's father in My Girl, in addition to countless other projects.
10 people witnessed a free-floating, full-torso vaporous apparition. It blew books off shelves from 20 feet away and...
A true believer who comes from a line of spiritualists and mystics, Aykroyd has long been obsessed with the paranormal. To that end, he currently hosts the History Channel show, The Unbelievable with Dan Aykroyd. He also continues to be a driving force behind the Ghostbusters franchise, appearing in 2024's Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. Perhaps none of the original SNL cast members embodied the rebellious spirit that made the show a hit quite like John Belushi. It didn't take long for the comic, known for his wild impressions of Vito Corleone from The Godfather and singer Joe Cocker, and in returning sketches like the Killer Bees segment, to parlay his success into mainstream movie stardom in films like 1978's Animal House and 1980's The Blues Brothers. There's even an alternate universe where Belushi stars in the Ghostbusters franchise as his SNL and Blues Brothers partner in crime Dan Aykroyd originally wrote the part of Dr. Peter Venkman with Belushi in mind. That wasn't to be, and the reason was tragic. On March 5th, 1982, the 33-year-old Belushi was found dead of a drug overdose in his bungalow at LA's Chateau Marmont. In a 2020 interview with People, Belushi's widow, Judy, explained, "John was always the guy who went a little too far and wanted to stay too long at the party." Since his death, the legends surrounding Belushi's self-destructive nature have only grown, but his friend and former SNL co-star Bill Murray continues to sing his praises as an actor and as a man.
There's a lot of people that stayed for free at his house until they made it in New York. And I'm one. He was still the best stage actor I ever saw.
A veteran performer and Juilliard music student originally from New Orleans, Garrett Morris was originally hired by Lorne Michaels as a writer for SNL. But after Michaels saw him in the 1975 coming-of-age dramedy Cooley High, Morris was named to the cast. He appeared in a bevy of memorable sketches, creating bits like Weekend Updates, News for the Hard of Hearing, and the character of Dominican baseball player Chico Escuela.
Baseball being very, very good to me.
He also got to showcase his singing voice in bits like the legendary Death Row Folly sketch. After a 5-year run on the show, Morris moved on to a successful TV and film career, guest starring on series like The Jeffersons and Hunter, while appearing in features, including Car Wash and How to Beat the High Cost of Living. He also had a regular role on the hit 1990 sitcom Martin as Martin's boss, Stan. More recently, Morris was a series regular on Two Broke Girls, and in 2025, he appeared on an episode of The Neighborhood. He continues to hold his original SNL castmates in high regard, telling Time, "There was a lot of energy and a lot of beautiful people. I was just amazed at the brilliance of the improvisation. Gilda Radner, John Belushi, Chevy Chase, they were all just such talented people, and I was really honored to be part of that group." One of SNL's most iconic performers is, of course, Gilda Radner. Radner got her start as the weather girl on her college radio station. She later dropped out and followed a boyfriend to Canada, where she appeared in a production of Godspell and linked up with the legendary Second City crew. A master improviser and character actor, her best-remembered SNL moments include consumer affairs reporter Rosanna Dana and hyperactive grade schooler and soap reenactor Judy Miller.
I want to talk to you tonight on behalf of a God-given American right, the right to extreme stupidity.
She also regularly poked fun at another television icon, Baba Wawa. Radner left the show along with most of the original cast in 1980.
You refer to yourself as a gunswinger, sort of a Lone Ranger of foreign policy.
After SNL, Radner appeared in a handful of films, including Hanky Panky, on which she met her husband, actor Gene Wilder. She made 2 more films with Wilder, The Woman in Red and Haunted Honeymoon. However, like Belushi, Radner's star burned out long before it should have. She died of ovarian cancer in May 1989 at the age of 42. Laraine Newman was another of the original SNL cast's most versatile performers, playing everything from total oddballs to some of the more glamorous characters. During her 5-year run on the show, she played Connie Conehead, public access TV host Christy Christina, and Sherry the Valley Girl. She was also a Weekend Update correspondent, to which she brought a pitch-perfect local news reporter persona.
Chevy, I'm standing here outside a room at the Blaine Hotel where once again tragedy has stricken.
In doing so, she leaned on the skills she developed as a founding member of the Groundlings and any years spent studying mime in Paris with the legendary Marcel Marceau. Although Newman's career slowed during the 1980s as she attempted to cope with fame and a long-time drug habit, she has managed to rack up appearances in everything from 1991's Problem Child 2 to series like Saint Elsewhere, Friends, and Seventh Heaven. Later in life, Newman reinvented herself as a voice actor in high-profile projects like WALL-E, Cars, the Inside Out and Minions movies, and more. She's also the mother of hack star and stand-up comic Hannah Einbinder. After founding the National Lampoon Radio Hour alongside Henry Beard and Doug Kenny, Michael O'Donoghue was hired by Lorne Michaels as a writer for SNL, a post he would hold at various junctures over the course of the show's first few seasons, finally leaving for good in 1985. He was also part of the cast in the first 3 episodes and actually appeared with Chevy Chase and John Belushi in the first ever SNL Cold Open, in which he played a language teacher who dies of a sudden heart attack. The sketch exhibited the kind of darkness that was a staple of O'Donoghue's offbeat brand of comedy, which informed much of SNL's early, more controversial content. His 1979 special Mr. Mike's Mondo video, which featured some of his SNL castmates, was deemed too crass for NBC. O'Donoghue also served as a writer on Gilda Radner's one-woman show, Gilda Live, and later appeared in films including Head Office, Manhattan, Wall Street, and Scrooged. In addition, he was a successful songwriter, writing Dolly Parton's 1982 hit Single Women, which peaked at number 8 on Billboard's Hot Country chart. O'Donoghue died in 1994 at the age of 54 of a cerebral hemorrhage. An oft-forgotten member of SNL's original cast, comedian actor George Coe appeared on several episodes of the show during its early years, although he was only officially credited on the debut episode. Coe was a seasoned stage performer before joining SNL, but he was something of a square peg compared to the rest of the original group. While the others were mostly at the beginnings of their careers, Coe was in his mid-40s and had already established himself on Broadway. Over the years, Coe racked up an impressive list of film and TV credits, appearing in movies like The Stepford Wives, Kramer vs. Kramer, and The Mighty Ducks, and series like The Doctors, LA Law, and many, many more. He's perhaps best known as the voice of Woodhouse on the long-running 2010s animated comedy Archer in his later life.
You're kind of family, and I know I'm not always as nice to you as I could be, so I'm going to work on that, okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Coe died of lymphoma in 2015 at the age of 86. His daughter, Amy Bickers, later told The Washington Post, he thought there was nothing more fun than his work, but he didn't have the ego of a star. He loved being part of an ensemble.
Could we stop the tape?
He was never an official SNL cast member, but legendary comedian and actor Andy Kaufman was an important part of the show's first season. He appeared in a number of memorable guest spots and feature segments, beginning with the very first episode on October 11th, 1975. Over the course of his 16 appearances on the show, Kaufman did his Mighty Mouse sketch and his signature Foreign Man bit, as well as his iconic Elvis Presley impression. He also brought his love of pro wrestling to SNL with an intergender wrestling segment, but that one didn't go over well with viewers. And in 1982, Kaufman was effectively blacklisted from SNL after a phone campaign to keep or dump him went against him.
Sorry, Andy, you'll never be on Saturday Night Live again!
Of course, Kaufman became a huge star with his portrayal of Latka on the sitcom Taxi, and also appeared in offbeat comedy films like Heartbeeps and Marty Feldman's In God We Trust. He also famously tangled with wrestling legend Jerry the King Lawler in Memphis's Continental Wrestling Association. Kaufman died of lung cancer in 1984 at the age of 35, although, as with his hero Elvis, rumors of him faking his own death persisted for decades, in keeping with the renegade, surrealist approach to comedy that he popularized.